Hey, welcome back everyone. Cameron here. Today's video will consist of how to draw the human torso, female edition. I'll explain my approach in the simplest way possible. Feel free to pause the video at any point if I happen to go too fast. I hope this tutorial helps you as well as supports you on your art journey. Feel free to let me know in the comments below what else you guys would like to see additional videos on, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated, and now let's get to the video. Okay, so this tutorial is going to be similar to our last video for the male torso, but basically you just want to start with an oval or an egg shape, and this is going to represent our top portion of the torso. Then next we want to draw a bowl shape for the pelvis, which is going to represent the bottom portion of the torso. Next is going to be our center line. Then you want to draw an oval on the top portion of the egg shape, which is going to represent our neckline. Next is going to be our rib cage line. And then the notch for the middle portion of the neck, and then the clavicle, and then always revert back to our last video if you want to remember. But always think of the clavicle and the lat muscles kind of connected, and then think of it as like a diamond shape. And then next is our sternum, which is the middle portion of the chest plate. Next is going to be the breast. And then next is going to be like the fold, which kind of forms into the armpit underneath the shoulders. You want to start forming the shoulders. And keep in mind, always try to keep the drawing light. That way you can make corrections down the road. And drawing some center points for our neck. And we can start connecting the lats and kind of shaping them a little bit better. And then next these are going to be our it's a hard word to say, but it's called the sternocleidomastoids. It's basically the like segments that kind of wrap around the neck into behind the ear. It's a tough term to say, but it's called the sternocleidomastoid, I believe. And then going back to the pelvis. Oh, and I forgot to add, always keep in mind when drawing the female, the female's hips are always going to come out a little bit wider. They're always going to be a little bit wider than the male hips, so keep that in mind. Male hips tend to be a little bit more straighter or more square, and then females' hips tend to come out a little bit more. And you can start adding a little bit more contrast if you like at this step. Usually it'll be like underneath the breast to give it a little bit more of a little bit more dimension, if that makes sense. But because there's gonna be like a fold that's underneath that sits because it's sitting on top of the chest, so it's gonna have like a fold underneath. So you can basically, you want to add a little bit more contrast under the breast. And then this is gonna be our abdomen line. Okay, so that was our front view, and next is gonna be like the back view. So again, you want to start with just a simple oval or an egg shape. And then next, these are just basically going to represent the I believe the rhomboids or the scapula. So this is what sits on top of the shoulders, or the deltoids. And then next, our oval, our bowl shape for the pelvis. And our neck. And our deltoids, which sits underneath the rhomboid or the scapula shapes. It's kind of the scapula or the rhomboids. They're basically gonna be just like a triangle. So think of it as that, like in that term, or in that sense. Excuse me. And this is some reference points for the lat muscles. and we start to form the trapezius a little bit more in the inner portion of the back. And the sternal obliques, that kind of wraps around from the front to the back of the torso. So you can see it slightly, but you can think of the trapezius muscle is pretty big, but think of it as like a big triangle, basically. It's almost like a diamond, but it's more so closer to a triangle, I would say. And then in this portion, this is just the teres major that sits underneath the trapezius muscles. I think there's like 3 types, but only for now I know there's just the teres major. So it's like in that little pocket underneath the lats, and then the trapezius. Sits right above the shoulders. Not above, but behind the shoulders. So next is just going to be our side view, and you want to draw this time you want to draw the oval or the egg shape kind of in a slanted position. And then the next is going to be our back line. Then our pelvis. Pelvis you don't have to close off, you can just kind of like leave it as like a half circle. Since this view is kind of different from the others, so then we won't draw the shoulder fully, but we can just leave it as a circle, kind of like a cutoff of the torso, so you would see, think of it you looking inside the torso, if that makes sense. So you don't have to draw the shoulder fully, just to give you just want to give a hint it's there basically. And then the breast, and you can see where I drew that little reference point. That's basically where the fold kind of comes underneath and lays on top of the chest. It could have been a little higher, but that's just to give you an idea of where it would be, or where the fold would be on top of the chest. And our obliques. And you can see here, sometimes I won't draw the muscle, certain muscles fully, just because you don't, it end up making the drawing flat sometimes. So, and that's the reason why I always say always begin drawing light in the beginning stages. That way you can fix or making corrections as you go along. So, because something might not look correct if you draw everything at once. So, always better to keep things light in case you need to make some corrections, So. And our neckline. And our sternocleidomastoid. Traps. The traps basically wrap around from the back onto the shoulder, or the deltoids. So think of it as that, in that sense. Then just giving some hint that there's some form for the abdomen. That's basically what I mean. When starting light, you can, because muscles aren't, in reality, muscles aren't always flexed 24/7. So sometimes you don't want to draw every single muscle there is in the body. Sometimes basically it makes it look more natural if you keep certain things light and you gradually add on darker lines or contrast. So keep that in mind. You can start to see how I go back and kind of shape certain forms once I have everything laid out. Let me start shaping a little bit more of the rib cage. I believe this portion here is called the costal margin. It's basically just the bump of the rib cage that you see on the stomach. It's kind of like the outer portion of the abdomen. And our line for the obliques. and our hip line. And the hip line come out a little bit slightly. Again, always think of the female pelvis that is a little wider, so the hip line will always come out a little bit more from the obliques. And that is our video. I hope this tutorial has helped you, and take care. Okay, so this is just going to be a quick video on all the descriptions of the muscles. I thought it'd be good to know the names for each segment rather than just drawing the body and not really knowing what is what. It's basically kind of similar to what I did in the last torso video. There will also be some additional footage at the end of the video which basically demonstrates how the torso bends from certain angles. With that being said, I hope this helps and enjoy.